Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. Of course, we're talking about the Eastern Conference Finals Game 6 because that's the only game left before the finals in my mind. And I'm letting y'all know that early. I did pick the Heat to win in 7. We're at Game 6. The Heat are down 3-2. And I don't feel too good about them. I don't feel too good about them at all. I think this is a situation where the Celtics would be um, um, I don't want to say the wrong thing because I don't want to phrase this in a way that puts too much on it. The Miami Heat have already won 2 games in this series. If the Miami Heat were completely healthy, I think they'd have a good chance of winning these next 2 games, to be honest with you. I feel at full strength both of these teams are basically equal. No one's better than anyone. But when you start talking about the Miami Heat, when you remove certain pieces from their team because they're not as strong with their star power, you have a situation where they're just not able to man up against a Boston Celtic team that runs about 9 deep, but those are some strong 9, man, real strong 9. As to where the Heat are a strong conglomerate. The team itself is what gives you the strength. It doesn't really matter who's wearing the uniform, so long as they're able to execute the plan. But the problem is they have to retool. They have to. They rely upon players that they should not be relying upon. That has been established already. So I think the adjustment at this point for Spoelstra, if he's going to try to win this particular game and survive here, he's going to have to play the healthy people, and he's going to have to get the most out of those healthy people. We knew last series that Kyle Lowry was injured, and we had seen a 1 game or 2 game sample size of what the team looked like when he's out there the way that he's playing right now. We've seen it already, and I said it. I said this. I said early in the series, the Miami Heat without Kyle Lowry are a better team because when he's out there, he's the primary ball handler and he's unhealthy, so that means that he's turning the ball over and he's bricking shots. People think of Kyle Lowry as a younger player because he looks young. He has a baby face like myself. But he's only 2 years younger than me. Dude's in his late 30s, mid 30s. And with these injuries, he can't help the team. You know, we don't look at him as one of those geriatric dudes, but he's definitely one of them. And it's one of those situations where they threw him back in the lineup and asked him to be the point guard that he's used to be in Toronto. And while if he was healthy, his game isn't predicated on speed or nothing like that. I'm certain he could be good. We've seen what he can do for the team in terms of passing the ball and making them better in situations like this. But he's also taken away from the team because he's going 0 for. You know? And it would be fine if he were going 0 for if they were able to get more efficiency from everyone else. But unfortunately, they are an offensively deficient team. So incorporating that piece back into the situation, giving him the ball, it did the same thing that it did in the last time they tried it. He went 0 for, lots of turnovers, no defense, worst play. And then Gabe Vincent has been playing consistent the entire playoffs. Now here's the part that I'm confused about. You have all the faith in the world in Max Strus, and Max Strus has not been consistent at all. Gabe Vincent and Max Strus going into this series with both 2 guys that we had never heard of. If you're not watching the Miami Heat, you don't really know who these guys are. I don't understand why you are relying upon either of them to any capacity, to be completely honest with you. But since you have to, why do you have so much faith in Max Strus and so little in Gabe Vincent when Gabe Vincent is playing well and Max Strus is playing bad? I mean, it's just, these are the type of things that I just don't understand. And I've talked about this, and I said I mentioned this, I think it was in Game 4 when Max Strus was playing horribly in that game and it gotten hurt. I said, I don't know why they're leaning on this dude. I know that he's supposed to be a defensive player who can hit shots, but they let him take about 11 shots a game, and either he's going to hit 8 of them or he's going to hit 3 of them. And after I said that, he ain't hit nothing. He's been horrible since I said that. And I know it's because of the injuries. Everybody on this team is playing hurt. Jimmy Butler's playing hurt. PJ Tucker's been a non-factor for about 3 games because he's been playing hurt. I mean, it's just, this is a decimated team. They could have all the heart in the world, the system that could work and all that. No Tyler Hero, he ain't been seen since Game 2. And when he was out there, he was awful. It's like, this ain't the Miami Heat that got the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. This is the Miami Heat that's been decimated by injury. And the thing that confuses me is They are the deeper team. They are the ones that are supposed to be able to withstand injury. I can argue they're deeper than the Boston Celtics in some ways. But that's not what's manifesting in these playoffs. Another thing that's confusing about the Heat, they've had the softer schedule, to be honest with you. They've played the Hawks, who didn't give them no trouble. They played Philly, who was hurt with Joel Embiid and didn't have nothing but underachievers all over the roster. Guys who should, probably be moving on in different phases of their career in most cases on that team. They didn't run into anything. They weren't even tested, if you ask me, to be completely honest with you. So, the fact that the Heat come into this series so banged up and have nothing to throw at this Celtic team just speaks to just how it can go sometimes. Sometimes it can really be unpredictable how things play out. One would think that the Boston Celtics, who've had to rely on these players all playoffs long, who've had situations where they've crashed to the ground and banged their head on the ground and twist their knee all the way up. You've seen players in the Boston Celtics have some of the worst falls and some of the worst collisions anybody in these playoffs because they play so physical. But here they are, standing strong, not having any issues whatsoever. In the Miami Heat, they're just in a walking infirmary. So if they were to somehow win this game, I think it would be because the Boston Celtics struggled. That's it. This is up to the Celtics to win this game. It ain't really nothing else to it. You got this team up against the ropes. Nobody's able to hit a shot. Jimmy Butler's disappeared. Bam Adebayo's confidence is nowhere to be found. Tyler Hero and PJ, like I said, those guys are not playing. It's a situation where I don't really see much of an attack for the Heat tonight. I really don't. You consider they got their back against the wall and all their horses hurt, and they're coming off of a demoralizing loss where everybody shot under 20%, 30%. It was a really, really tough game offensively. So you'd imagine they're not going to play as poorly offensively, but you also don't know who's going to be available. My guess is just lean on the guys who've played the best for you. Victor Oladipo's had some good moments, even though he was clanking threes. He still stole the ball quite a bit in the last win you had, to say the least. Jaylen Brown couldn't deal with him, so that was a strength, right? And then you look and see, okay, Gabe Vincent's been playing great. Maybe you lean on him a lot more. Caleb Martin is having a fantastic series. No one's paying attention to it, but he really is. He hasn't had a bad game in this series yet. And so maybe you lean on him a little more, empower him a bit more. I mean, this is the problem with the Heat. They're relying upon guys. You don't want to be relying upon those guys at this stage in this season, but they've rocked Bam to sleep in a way offensively, so that, his very, very high upside offensive game back in the day is now just basically dwindled down to a couple jump hooks and a couple jump shots and maybe a dunk here and there off a rebound. They've really decimated his offensive game, and he needs to rediscover himself offensively. I know he's a great defensive player, but he don't have to play just one side of the ball. The best players in the world don't play just one side of the ball, and when you have the ability to play the game the way that Bam can, you can't let your skills dwindle like this. Not if you're not sacrificing for championships like Draymond, because I feel like Draymond sacrificed his shooting, potential so that he could work his way through a team that had nothing but shooters. They didn't need him shooting the ball ever, but that didn't mean that he needed to stop shooting, and he did, and it was worth it because he's got a bunch of championships. Bam ain't got no championships, so I don't understand why he has to sacrifice like this. So that being said, you got to give credit to Robert Williams, who's many people have said is in Bam's head. I can't speak to that. I don't know, but I know he's doing a good job on him. And I think that it would be wise for Ime Udoka to keep him on Bam tonight and force Bam to try to figure it out. Al Horford has been Hall of Fame level in my mind since he came into this league. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't know that he's going to make it in the Hall of Fame. I don't know that he's done just enough to be considered, but I think that dude is the truth, man. I've always thought that. And now, as a kind of a glue guy on both sides of the floor, who can stretch the floor. He's been shooting the ball fantastic. Playing defense fantastic. I mean, Al Horford is giving you what you need from a Celtic big man. when it's time to win a championship. It's that simple. If you really want to know the truth, that's exactly what it is. If they're going to win a championship, I think he's going to have a massive to do with that. A massive to do with that. And he's going to have to, because he's going to be going up against Draymond Green. So he's going to have to. But I'm telling you, that's going to be a player that I think could continue to ascend in terms of how we look at him going forward. Al Horford, he's still going. So I'm looking at that, and I'm saying he's going to be a big problem for the Heat tonight. And it's important that the thing the Heat needs to do, in my opinion, they need to sit Kyle Lowry back down. Do not play him no more in this series. Period. I'm sorry, respect Kyle Lowry, but you're hurt, bro. That's all it is. You're just hurt. Injured is the word. Don't play Max Strus tonight. Let him heal. Let him heal. He's been playing a lot of basketball for a lot of time, and he's been taking a lot of punishment. He shouldn't be relied upon like that. So give him a rest tonight. Give some more minutes to some other people. Duncan Robinson needs to be shooting the ball more, man. You need scoring, Miami. I mean, if you can't tell, you scored about maybe 100 points in the last 3 games, and I know I'm exaggerating, but it seems about that, right? So at this point, let Duncan Robinson just hoist up a bunch of threes and see what happens. He was 4 for 12 in the last game. Let him shoot another 12 of them. See what happens. Because you're getting offense from nowhere. Jimmy Butler, sit him. Sit him, man. You got this man playing injured, probably taking years off his career doing this bull crap. If y'all would have set him in few games sooner, you probably would have had him fresh for the night. But you decided to ride him all the way through. And here we are. That's another thing. It's like the Celtics set Marcus Smart. They didn't allow themselves to force injured players onto the basketball floor. This is just stupid. It's stupid. I don't care how talented a guy is. If he's hobbled, he's a defensive liability, and he's not going to be hitting many shots. And he's probably going to do further damage to the injury. I understand they're decimated by injuries, but putting those injured players on the floor do you no good, Miami. None. You just got to roll with the players you have. Y'all supposed to be the next man up. Why the hell are you relying upon all of your injured guys? Give yourself no chance. 0 chance. And that's exactly what happened. They gave themselves 0 chance. If I was Spoelstra, I'd have been playing Bam. I'd have played Duncan Robinson. I'd have kept Oladipo on the floor. I'd have kept Gabe Vincent on the floor. And we just ran with the people who were healthiest and just let it be, man. Because honestly, you letting Jimmy and all these guys go out there tossing up 20% from the 3, 30% from the arc, you're hurting these guys. Historically, this is the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if you know or not, but this is affecting their legacy. People ain't gonna care that they was hurt. They gonna say they was out there. So for me, you just gotta get to a point where it's like, all right, we're not gonna win these games. We're getting embarrassed, and we're making great players look bad because we're playing them injured. Stop it. Simple as that. Stop it. They're not helping. Besides, you got other guys playing well, and the guys you are playing are doing nothing. That's the point. It's not like they're productive at all. That is the point. Now, if they were productive and playing injured, I'd probably still feel this way. But hey, they're playing well. These guys look like the liabilities I'm describing. Stop playing them. Unless they're healthy, unless they woke up this morning feeling great, you know what I'm saying? But if they felt like they did in the game prior, just don't. Just don't. So that's what I gotta say, man. This is Boston Celtics game to win. This series should be over. I'm with all the pundits at this point. I feel like I gotta concede that I was wrong. I'm still in a position to be right. The Heat could very well find a way to have more points than the Celtics tonight. As to which of my 7 game prediction feel really good. But this game 6 is in Boston. Okay? They're gonna be surrounded by that green machine. And those folks are gonna be looking forward to getting the Eastern Conference trophy tonight, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be hoisting it. I just don't see no way for the Miami Heat to overcome this. This is not one of those situations where you're like, there's something that I saw in Game 5 that may carry over. No, I saw nothing at all. What I saw was a team that needs to go home, and we need to start talking about the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. So that's honestly what I have to say, man. I'm not happy about it. If I'm wrong, you'll never see me more happy to be wrong, because I definitely want the Celtics to go home. Laker fan here. And plus, I like being right, of course. And I'm just 2 games away from being right. So I definitely would love to be wrong in this case. But I tell you guys what I see, not stick to things that I don't believe in. And I don't believe the Heat can win this series without their horses. And if I thought they were going to be without Tyler Hero and have trouble with Kyle Lowry, incorporating him back into the series in such a stupid way as I told them not to do at the beginning of the series, if I thought all that was going to happen, I would have told y'all that the Heat probably weren't going to win a single game in this series. So I still would have been wrong. So for what they actually have been to what I thought they were, two very different things. And that's just the truth. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I don't see them guys getting healthier tonight. They only had one day off, and that's a big part of the problem. The NBA needs to stretch these games out a bit more like they used to. It's healthier for the league overall, man. It's just healthier. You'd had a better conference finals if you guys would have just gave these guys an extra day between games. We all know it. So, also, don't be surprised if the officiating is stupid tonight to extend this series. Do not be surprised if the Heat win because they shot like 40 free throws like they did in game 2 or whatever it was. It's a lot of weird, wacky stuff going on. I'm irritated by it. And I just would never rule out some corruption tonight. I would never. not the way this series is gone. So, yes, do I expect the Celtics to win? Of course. Would I be overly surprised if the Heat win on some controversial bullcrap? Not tonight. Not tonight. I would not. So, I will be looking for that. And most importantly, I'll be looking for Jason Tatum to continue to push the envelope. I think he's figured out what he needs to do against his defense. I don't think anybody over there can really do nothing with him at this point. Without PJ Tucker, they can't do nothing with him. So I expect him to go off. Jaylen Brown's struggles are real. Ever since he was turned the ball over 100 times against Victor Oladipo, he's had real turnover issues. Shooting's been up and down. I don't know if he's 100% healthy. Keep an eye on Jaylen Brown. I think his struggles are real in this series. Now, if this series ends, I think new series and different matchups. But in this series, he has his concerns dealing with some of those guys if they're hounding him the way they were early in the series. So half of those guys are hurt. We'll see what happens. But I do keep an eye on Jaylen Brown's turnovers. I always think, the Celtics are a much better team when Grant Williams scores the ball. But they've done such a good job managing that. I don't think that's going to be too much of a factor. Marcus Smart, whether he plays or not, they seem to be have a great thing going with the Celtics. Playing Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, who've had good series. So you got to give those guys credit. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Obviously, they're looking to close this team out. I don't think Miami's necessarily looking to roll over. So if they have something in them, I'm pretty sure they'll give it, especially on the defensive end where they've been known to be pretty active, health permitting, of course. So we'll see how they're feeling, and that will determine what they're able to give us, obviously. But the Celtics are at this point the better team. I think we've established that. So now we wait for the Celtics to do what it is they have to do, handle business. I'm challenging them to handle business tonight and make me look like a fool in regards to my initial 7th game Heat winning prediction. But they still have to execute. They've already lost 2 games against this Heat team. For whatever it's worth, they look pretty bad when they did too. So only time will tell what happens. But we'll be here for you at the end of this game, hopefully celebrating a Game 7 that will be taking place on Saturday. I think it would be. But for now, I thank you all for watching BDF 44. I'm out.